welcome back to my channel, Dallas's Eagle's Nest. Today is part 2 of the tips and tricks of the wizarding world. There are some things that I left out, some things that I just couldn't get into the last video, so I'm making a second video for y'all. Now, I talked to y'all about the wands and the interactive wands and the ones that you have to use for the spells. Now, regarding the wands, if you do not get a box like this that has a gold tag, now this is my husband's, he got the Peter Pettigrew one, but if you don't get a box that has the gold on here and you get the regular box that does not have this gold slip, you are not getting an interactive wand. Make sure you get an interactive wand if you want to do the spells. Now, if you do not find the one that you're really wanting, go up to one of the crew members there and they'll be more than happy to help you. Now, another tip I'm going to let y'all know is do not let these boxes out of your sight. Me and my husband made the mistake when we set ours down. A few seconds later, they were gone. Thankfully, they had some extra boxes and they were able to give us some boxes to replace the ones, but that doesn't always happen. That we were just very, very lucky. Thankfully, we did have our wands already in our wand case. Otherwise, we would have been losing our wands, and they're $65 a piece. So, I didn't want to lose my wand. I promise you, you want to keep them safe. So, if you need to, you can always. Another tip here. If you are done shopping, but you're not done within the park, have them send your stuff to the front of the park, whether it be the Islands of Adventure side or the Universal side, and right before you walk out, you can grab your stuff without having to lug it all day around the park. I wished I'd known about that, but I didn't, and that caused me not to be able to purchase some things because I was afraid I was going to have to lug it around. Also, another tip about getting stuff. If you already know what you're trying to buy, but there are some things that you don't know what the price is, go on Universal.com and they will have a selection of Harry Potter stuff, whatever you're looking for. That way you can see what price and you can budget better. You can look at it and go, okay, well that's $30. Oh, that's $20. So I need at least $50 plus tax to bring with me if I want those two items. So that's another tip that I'm going to share with y'all. That way you can budget better. You can figure out if you can afford it or not, or if you just need to wait. Now, sometimes it goes on sale, the items do, and sometimes it doesn't always put it on the Universal website, so you might be surprised. It may be $20 online, you get there, and it may be 10% off. It just depends, but always budget. That was another problem that me and my husband have because we didn't realize how much certain things were, and I wished I did. So always, if you're going to buy certain things that you're wanting, go on to the website and see how much they are. Then that way you can budget better and you can make a trip much better because you already know what that money is set aside for. So, another thing that I was going to tell y'all and I didn't tell y'all is if you go to the Leaky Cauldron or to the Three Broomsticks, which is my favorite, breakfast starts at 9 o'clock and ends at 10:30. So at 10:30 they go immediately to lunch. So that's for anybody that is planning on having breakfast there. Now, me and my husband only had breakfast one time because it's a little expensive for just our budget and stuff, but we did try it. No, I was not brave enough to have the English breakfast. I'm not brave enough to have black pudding. I know what's in it, and that's just not my cup of tea. But I went with the traditional, and I think my husband went with the pancakes, and it was great. but we ended up going to Cinnabon, which is in City Walk right before you get into the park, and they had breakfast. Also, right across is Starbucks, so you can always get a coffee and then go to Cinnabon and get your cinnamon rolls, and there you go, and it's much cheaper. I think the cinnamon rolls, I got the 4-pack of the minis, and I think it was $5. If you're looking for something cheap but good, go to Cinnabon. I promise you, it's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Also, another thing that I did not tell y'all about is if you are in Diagon Alley and you are trying to get butter beer, and all the carts that have the butter beer are just lined, go to Fair Fortune, which is right next to the ice cream shop. It's a shorter line, and you can get butter beer. Plus, at the ice cream shop, the lines can get really, really long. So if you're just wanting soft serve butter beer, you can also get it at Fair Fortune as well. So that way the lines aren't long, you're not waiting in line so much, and you're able to get what you need and get out so you can enjoy the rest of the park. Now, the other thing that I will tell y'all is when you are in your hotel the night before, always, and you're going to bring like a book bag or a little fanny pack with you, make sure to go ahead and pack for the next day. That's really easy. That way, when you get up, you're not trying to, oh, where's this, where's that, and you're losing time. Especially if you are trying to get in early, since you have early admission if you stay at one of the hotels in the resort. That way you're not missing out on maybe that photo that you're trying to get without everyone around you. Just go ahead and lay out your clothes, lay out your toothbrush, whatever you're trying to do the next morning. Make sure you have your water bottles, make sure you have your cups, make sure you have your wand, and that way you can get out the door a lot quicker, and that way you're not having to try to figure out where did I lay this, where it's all in one place. You get up, you get dressed, you can grab your fanny pack or your book bag, whatever you are choosing to bring with you, and you're out the door. You're not having to waste time, because the more time you are trying to put everything together, the less time you're going to have without everyone in the background in your pictures. So that is something that I done. I actually done it like the last day, and I really wished I had done it the other days that I was there, just because it was a lot nicer to go into the park and you didn't have everyone like standing around, and you could get that perfect shot of the castle or the perfect shot of the dragon blowing its fire. And also, talking about the dragon on top of Gringotts. Now, shout out to the Potter collector, Peter. And I was rereading the books, and there is a scene where they say, "Well done, dragon." So always praise the dragon. When me and my husband done that, a lot of people looked at us really, really funny. But praise the dragon. But also, I don't know if I said it in the other video, but if you are standing underneath that dragon, like right up underneath it, you are going to feel heat. So if you don't like to feel a lot of heat from something, be in the back. Try to be in the back. That way you can also get a better shot of the dragon itself, or you can turn the corner where the bathrooms are, going toward the bathrooms, and turn around and get a good shot, because then you won't have that heat. But the closer you are to that dragon, the more heat you're going to feel. And trust me, I done it one time. I didn't realize you could feel the heat from the dragon, and that was it was in June, so June's already hot. It was not a pleasant to stand underneath. So just make sure, if you do not like to be around heat, to make sure that, Also, be patient when you're trying to check out. It can be a long line. Don't get frustrated. Just know everyone's trying to get something there. But also, if you buy like little souvenirs, like your keychains, pins, anything like that, you can always put them in your fanny pack or book bag. That way you don't have to have, once you've purchased it, just keep your receipt. And that way you don't have to get a bag unless you want to carry a bag around. But yet, again, I'm going back to, if you have a lot of stuff, you can also get it sent to the front. Now, if it's a really, really big item, just say you end up buying a really big item like a broomstick or several items, and you unfortunately are on an airplane and your luggage is not going to accommodate, you can get it sent home for a fee. They will send certain items to your house for a fee. Now, remember, they won't send it to your house for free, so there is going to be an additional fee against, your items. But that way, by the time you get home, it might be sitting there. And if another tip that I would say on that is, if you've got a lot of stuff and that it might get sent to your house before you get home, maybe you have a neighbor, maybe you have a friend that can go to your house and pick that item up off the front porch, so then that way your items don't get taken. I know a lot of people nowadays, they like to get stuff off of people's porch and their front door. So especially if you've bought something that is really sentimental to you, or a really big item, and you've spent a lot of money, my tip would be to call one of your friends, your family, and just say, hey, can you drive by my house? I've got a package. I don't know if it's going to get there before we get home, but I really don't want it taken, and get them to just pick it up. And then they can call you and just say, hey, I've picked it up, so it's in good hands. That would be another tip, like I said, that I would tell you, just because of how things are nowadays. You don't ever know, and if it's, like I said, if it's something really, really valuable to you, you don't want it taken off your porch. Especially if it's going to get there before you get home. Also, the robes. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but the robes at Universal is $139. So that's another thing. If you want a robe, it's going to be $139 plus tax. So that's another thing you would have to maybe put in your budget. Another tip that I'm going to share with you guys, and once I get mine in, I will show you what it looks like, but I had what they call a cash binder. And it also will hold your credit cards, your debit cards, and all that. But each little pocket had a place where me and my husband drove, so I had a section where I had saved money for gas. I had money saved for food. I had money saved for what we called miscellaneous, or our souvenirs. I had one for like clothes that we were going to bring in case we had to buy more clothes or anything like that, emergency. And that really helped. Because it was all in one place, and it was kind of like a wallet, but it was just better. And you can all have it at your disposal. I was able to put mine in my fanny pack because my fanny pack was a little bit bigger. And it worked out. It worked out beautifully. And I was able to budget better and see what was left. And because of that, we were able to save a little bit of money coming home. So we can use that for the next trip. But like I said, budgeting is the most important thing that I'm going to tell y'all about going to Orlando. If you don't think Orlando is high, you're wrong. Of course, anything you get in the park is going to be high. I know water was like $3 a bottle. Gatorade was like $4 a bottle. Powerade was like $5 a bottle. So they will allow you to bring snacks. And like I said, this right here, like I showed y'all in my other video, this really helps because you can fill it up, continuously filling up. It's $11 a day to fill it up, but that's unlimited. So if you get really thirsty, even if you just want water, you can just put water in this and not have to pay for the $11 a day. And that's what me and my husband done. Actually, I think the last 2 days we just filled it with water, and you can go and just fill it with water. And that really helped. But and that really saved money. Now, one day we didn't bring these, and we brought these. Of course, this is my water bottle, but I just hooked it to my fanny pack and I walked around with it. It was not a big deal, and it actually just helped. They were able to just, if you go into a restaurant or any of the little drink areas, and you just hand them, you'll have to undo it like this and just hand it and say, can I get some water, please? They may not just take this. They might say, okay, well, we can give you a cup of water, and that's fine. Just take the cup of water, and then you can get rid of the cup, so you're not lugging a cup around, with you. But now, during the summer, I will say it gets extremely hot, so make sure your little ones are hydrated. You don't want anybody to get dehydrated. So that's why I'm saying these are a lifesaver, just because, and these are too, but if you don't want to spend the money, you can always just bring your own water bottle, and they will allow that. Now, certain rides you will have to take these off your fanny pack. Now, the 2 rides that I know of that you had to take everything, like your fanny pack, anything like that, anything loose, was, even your cell phone had to be put in a locker, was the Velocicoaster, and you also had to do it for Hulk. Unfortunately, for those 2 rides, I cannot ride. I've had open heart surgery and 2 lung surgeries, and the force and how fast they go is just not ideal for me. So my husband got to go ride those rides, and he just left his stuff with me. But just for y'all, if you are riding and you don't have anybody that you can hand your stuff off to, they will make you go through with nothing. In fact, the Hulk, my husband said he had to go through a metal detector just to make sure he didn't have anything on him. So like anything, like as y'all can tell, I have my time turner here. Anything like that, a lot of times I would just put it in my shirt, especially if you have your passes around your neck with your lanyard. And it's fine. I done that on the Hagrid ride, and it was fine. I also done that on the Journey Through Hogwarts ride in the castle, and just stuffed everything in my shirt because at that time I just didn't have anything. Now, they will still allow you to have your fanny pack with you and stuff like that on most rides, but now in my case, I did have a knee scooter, so a lot of times I would just put my stuff with my knee scooter and go ride, and then they would bring me my knee scooter back to me. But that's just how some rides are, and I understand why they are the way they are, just because of the force of those 2 rides are extremely. So, heads up tip, if you've had heart surgery like me, or back surgery, hip surgery, anything like that, I don't necessarily advise y'all to get on those rides, because I have watched them and they go really fast, and the G-force on them is really fast, and you could really hurt yourself. So, also on the Gringotts Bank ride, there was a drop at the beginning, and I did not know, and it took my breath away, but I was fine. But just a heads up for anybody that's had heart surgery or anything like that, I would just say ride at your own risk. If you don't feel like it's safe, don't ride it. If you do, you can ride it once, see how you do, and then if you don't like it or didn't feel right, hey, I wouldn't advise you to ride it again. But those are the tips that I have for y'all today. If there is anything else that y'all have that y'all would like to know, any more tips and tricks that maybe there's something I have not covered and you're curious about, just put them in the comments below and I will do my best to get back with you and answer those as quickly as I can. Y'all have a great Harry Potter day.